The year is 2099. During his time as an engineered Alchemax, Miguel O'Hara was forced to combine his own DNA with that of a spider, which gave him superhuman strength and agility, along with venomous fangs, retractable talons on the ends of his fingers, and the ability to shoot webs from the backs of his wrists. With these newfound powers, he decided to become a force for good and fight the corruption of Alchemax in Nueva York, becoming Spider-Man. His suit is a makeshift Day of the Dead costume made out of unstable molecules. It has since gone down in history as one of the most iconic and recognizable Spider-Man costumes. But there's a certain controversy in the fan base surrounding this particular Spider-Man suit. Nobody can decide what color it's supposed to be. Hey, my name is Michael and welcome to Grumpster Dive, and if you ever see me looking that way, it's because that's where my script is. My memory's bad. I can't memorize that shit. Today I'm going to be talking about what I think is one of the dumbest ongoing debates in the Spider-Man fandom, which is whether or not this guy's costume is blue or black. To the untrained eye, you might just look at him and say, oh, well, it's clearly blue. Why would it be any other color? He's blue in this video game and this other video game, and in the cartoon, and I used to believe this as well. Growing up playing Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time, of course I thought it was blue, until Godzilla Mendoza had this to say.
Miguel O'Hara's suit is actually black. If you read the book, they talk about the guy in the black suit all the time. The reason it looks blue is a limitation of the art style. So they used blue to accent it and black as the parts that aren't coated in light, instead of black being the shadow like everyone thought it was.
So in the original run of Spider-Man 2099, the costume was canonically black and red, and the black parts of his costume were colored with blue highlights. This is an extremely commonly used practice even to this day. Just look at someone like Venom or the Punisher. Both wear black costumes with blue highlights. The confusion came in when different artists and writers came in to work on Spider-Man 2099 and didn't know the costume was supposed to be black, so it became blue with no real in-universe explanation. This discrepancy then carried over to Miguel's first non-comic book appearance. Spider-Man 2099 appears in this iconic video game beloved by many to this day. Of course, I'm talking about Neversoft's Spider-Man for the original PlayStation.
Trickster!
Technically, Miguel O'Hara himself didn't appear in the game, but his costume does. Entering various cheat codes in the game's cheat menu will unlock different perks and alternate costumes for Spider-Man, and oh, would you look at that, he's blue. Nearly every subsequent appearance of Spider-Man 2099 in books, games, and even the new Across the Spider-Verse movie that I haven't seen yet as of writing and recording this video, has Miguel donning a red and blue suit, yet so many fans still insist the costume is red and black. So, which is it? Well, I know the answer, because my opinions are objectively correct all the time. But before I definitively answer once and for all what color the costume is, let's move away from the Spider-Man of 2099 and first talk about the Spider-Man of 1962. Actually, this book came out in 1963, but I don't have a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15, so... The year is 1962. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, was introduced to the world, donning his now famous red and blue costume, and the suit has remained relatively unchanged to this day. After 60 years of alternating between many different artists like John Romita Sr., my personal favorite, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Mark Bagley, and many more, it's inspiring to see that Steve Ditko's original design for Spider-Man has persevered. But what if I told you it didn't? One key difference between the original Spider-Man costume and the one we're all familiar with now has been staring us in the face the whole time. The original isn't blue, it's black with blue highlights. This action figure gets a lot wrong in terms of translating what's on the page to real life, but at least I got the colors right. Well, mostly. Even Steve Ditko himself said several times that the costume was originally supposed to be black and red, but it looks blue because of the shading. So are all these other depictions of Spider-Man rendered invalid or inaccurate? Are they wrong? Obviously, the answer is no. So then why are so many people bothered by Miguel's costume being blue? I wish I knew. Personally, I prefer the blue and red. It serves as the only connecting tissue between 2099 Spider-Man and present-day Spider-Man, since their costumes are so wildly different. I also believe the blue and red straight up just looks better. If most of the costume is black, it ends up making the suit look bland. I think Peter's costume can get away with black and red because half the costume is red, so it kind of balances out. If the majority of Miguel's costume is black, I feel like it just overpowers the red bit, you know? Maybe I'm just biased because I'm a poser and I never read the original 2099 comic run and I only know Miguel from the video games that he's in. Who knows? At the end of the day, Spider-Man 2099's costume is blue, whether you like it or not. It's blue in the video games, it's blue in the movies, and it's blue in the comics now too, just like Peter Parker's costume. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Actually, I think this whole color debate is just silly. It could easily be resolved by just saying it's both. Just imagine in your mind that when Miguel first wears the costume, in the beginning of his tenure, he wears a black costume. And then later, he makes a new costume off screen, and that costume is blue. There. 2 different costumes that are 2 different colors, and he wears both. Debate over. Nobody is wondering why Peter Parker's costume gets minor, inconsequential changes like the eyes being different shapes or the spider looking different. People just assume that off screen he had a battle, it got ripped, and he made a new costume. Miguel making a new costume doesn't feel that far-fetched. Just say that he went from a black costume to a blue costume to a white costume, which is dog shit. Now, the real problem I have with modern iterations of Miguel O'Hara's costume is the fact that he doesn't have his web cape. The back of his costume is completely bare, and it's because there's supposed to be a cape there, but none of his appearances outside of the comic books give him the damn cape anymore. Do they know that the cape has a purpose? He doesn't just wear it because he likes it. It actually helps him glide. In Insomniac's Spider-Man game, 2099 suit has the low gravity power, but it makes no sense for him to be able to do that without the web cape. At least Shattered Dimensions attempted a compromise by giving him a wingsuit in the freefall sections, but that's it. As far as I know, even the Across the Spider-Verse movie chooses to omit the cape from Miguel's costume. Why? Just give him I don't care that it looks silly and goofy and stupid. Just give him the cape. But Michael, Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape. Motherfucker, does this look like Spider-Man to you? Does he look anything like Spider-Man? He's a shiny blue man with a skull on his chest. At least Batman Beyond had the common decency to have ears and a bat symbol. Miguel has fucking Batman claws on his arms and fangs. Spider-Man doesn't have fangs. Anyway, that's it from me. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video and leave a comment telling me how wrong and stupid I am. What side are you, team black? Are you team blue? Let's talk about it. This is the first video on the channel, but I'm gonna be making a bunch more like it, so if you like Spider-Man as much as I do, consider subscribing for more. And I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.